Okay, so we are here today to talk about the Terahertz Wands. We're going to do a Terahertz Wand review and testimonial with Mr. Kenneth and Miss Angie Bertolot out of Wyoming. And Kenneth and Angie, thank you very much for joining us on the call today. How you doing out there?
We're doing just good.
Doing
Great.
good, yeah.
Doing really good. So, you know, we had spoke a week or two back, and I know we just talked, and I know you've had the Terahertz Wand. I think it's a 7.0 that you've had for about a month. Whichever one you want to start first. I know you've both been getting some good use on it, but Angie, do you want to start off first maybe and start talking to us a little bit about your experience with the wand and how it's been helping you?
Yes, when we first got it, I sat down and I have a really stiff knee, and I think it comes off the back too. And I wanded that knee, and within 15 minutes, it had made a difference. And I continuously use it, and it just seems like it keeps getting a little better and a little better. And I use it on that lower back, and I have knots in that lower back that have been there for 15 years. Chiropractors and physical therapy never got rid of them, but that wand is making those go away too. So I am really impressed with it.
That's awesome. How long has your knee been up bothering you?
The knee has gotten really bad in just this last winter, in the last 4 or 5 months. It just felt like it was really swollen inside, but nothing, no anti-inflammatories would do anything for it. But as soon as I started using that wand, it was like in the first day, it was making a difference.
Yeah, very exciting. Now, Kenneth, we talked, you know, you folks are in Gillette, Wyoming, and that is, you know, that's the real West out there. And, you know, I know you've got some things that you've been using it for. Do you want to go in and talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you've been using the wand for?
Well, I've been kind of concentrating mainly on my ankle right now. I've got plates and the screws I took out, but I got plates in there now. But I've been wanding that twice a day, in the morning and then at night. And it was getting to the point I was just hobbling along on that leg, and they told me I'd probably have to have it fused, and I didn't want to have that done. So with my heart problem and stuff, we searched out and found that this wand and stuff could be helpful. So I started working on my ankle, and now I can walk again without it hobbling and messing with my hip as bad now. So that's been doing really good. I've been using the wand around for my heart and stuff. I got a defibrillator in, so I got to be careful around it, but I've been going around it, and I've got broken ribs and stuff too. And I'd had broken ribs in the past, and they've always been kind of sore. So I'm working on that, and I've been using about a month now, and overall, I think I'm improving. I ain't taking hardly any medicines for my heart anymore because I'm allergic to everything, all the medicines anymore. So this here, we got a blood test done, and the blood test has come back that cholesterol is high, but not so bad that it's, you know, it's going to be a problem for me. But all my good cholesterol and everything come up to match out with the high. So I'm doing a lot better on it now.
And your liver function's improved.
No, my liver function, because of the medicines that I've been taking over the years, I was having liver problems, and my liver functions have gotten really starting to change now too. We've noticed that with blood tests that it's been changing. So and that's just it within the last month. So it's really been helping me a lot. So I got.
So you're using it on the liver and the kidneys?
Yes. I try to point it towards all that stuff, and
yeah.
And then I use the watch too, and then I run that on those cycles too for that too.
Yeah.
You know, for the heart and the kidneys and liver, and I do a detox about every other day with it, and so it's also been coming out pretty good now for the blood tests and stuff. And yeah. I do got a little more. I got more energy than I used to have there for a while. I was to the point that I would get dizzy and fall over, and I haven't
Right.
had that happen. I ain't got that problem had that problem now. So
when you're using it on like the kidneys and liver, how much time are you using it for?
I'll as the most time, each time I'm running about an hour to an hour and a half doing my whole body. I do just about every inch of my body with it, and it seems to be helping that way. And so I'm basically in the day, I'll probably get in at least 2 hours, if not 3.
Okay. Now, are you drinking the water before and after?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll wand the water, and then I'll drink the water, and then I'll wand myself, and then have some more wand. And actually, I use a big tall glass, and then I just wand that, and then after I get done, I'll drink the other half of it then. So.
Right. Yeah. And, in the last, I'd say probably last 60 or 90 days, I'm really starting to pick up from feedback from people like yourself, how much better things are working out for them when they incorporate the water into the whole routine. And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos lately. There was one I did with Melody probably about a month ago, but I've done many others. But with Melody, it really started ringing true on also using the wand on the palms and on the bottoms of the feet, and opening up a lot of those energy centers before you actually get into the liver, the kidneys. Now on the webpage on my usamedbed, I'll send you a link when we get off here. You have those acupuncture / reflexology charts. So
Right.
you can see where the heart is on the palm. You can see where the lungs and where the kidneys and liver are on the palms and on the feet. So you can focus energy into those areas. And in many cases, people already can start feeling that energy coming through before they've even gotten to that actual area that they're working on. So, if you haven't done that yet, that might be just something that I would just share with you, because a lot of these calls that I really get a lot of good feedback from people, and I do get a lot of very good tips, because people using it every day are really, helping to assist with feedback that they're getting from all the different types of use. Now we're on this call today actually because you folks had the wand. Obviously you're very happy with it. Angie called me up, I think it was last week, Angie, or maybe the week before, and you wanted to order 5 more wands.
Yes.
Yeah, and over the deal, we've talked with other people, and we've sent them to you, and I think there's been about 3 of them, 3 or 4 people that sent, and give them your web, and then send them to you, and they bought, so they're buying some. But now the ones are waiting for the watches and stuff. But
But those people have all had good, have said they were impressed with how it started working right away too. The only person that said, well, they said they don't use it as faithfully as they should because they're so busy, and so they weren't seeing as good of results. But everybody else that we've talked to, yeah, they think it's wonderful too.
And going back to those,
is there anything in particular with any of those people that they've been using it for?
well, the one he's had heart problems, and he had shoulder surgery and stuff. And he's got problems with his shoulders and stuff. He slipped and fell on ice and stuff after he's had the surgery. And so he started using the wand on it. And his wife was telling Angie here about a week ago that he really likes that. It really helps that shoulder out. So, and then they've got the watch also, and then they've also got the 7.0 wand. So, and they're using both of them. So. We haven't talked to him since then, but they just gotten it and they started using it, and he thought it's really been helping him. So you talked about those pressure points or whatever on the body, and that I don't know what they call it on my hand, but is it a bunion or whatever?
Cyst.
Something that in there on my on the palm of my hand.
Mhm.
And I had to have one removed on the left hand, but the right hand has showed up with one now. And I've been using it on that. And because my hand is, I think I've got arthritis too somewhat, but the hand is stiff. And of course, that's the hand I've used for everything, you know, and impacts and all kinds of stuff, you know, the right hand. So it's been pretty sore when I started using that on that. So those points that you're talking about on the hand, I've been hitting that hand really good, and both hands and the palm of them real good. And then with my feet, with that ankle being bad, I've got my whole feet with that, and so I've hit those points on the bottom of my feet on both of them too. I don't necessarily do those first, but if I start at my hands, well, then I'll do my hands, and I'll do that area first, and then I'll go that way. But then I might go the rest of my body, and then I go down to my feet or whatever, or I might go from my feet the next time and come up. So,
Right.
but I haven't really hit those points first, but.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing is, especially because you've got the plates in your ankle,
Yeah.
you know, using the bottom of the foot is going to send a lot of energy through there without really putting any pressure on you to really have to hit that area that has the plates. Because, you know, the plates, you know, you have to kind of work around those, obviously. And, you know, the whole description that I've used, and it wasn't originally for me, it actually came from smarter people than me, some scientists, but it's the analogy of a tuning fork. So when a tuning fork gets hit and a tuning fork's resonating at a frequency, another tuning fork, say within 6 or 8 inches away, would automatically pick up and run that frequency because of the frequency being emitted from the tuning fork next to it. And that's exactly what happens to your cells, right? So this terahertz frequency, this whole name terahertz, basically comes from this bandwidth of frequency that's between far infrared, microwave, but that's like an optimal frequency that your cells resonate at. So it gets the cells resonating at their optimum frequencies. And then what happens is that even though you're not directly hitting the area with the plate, by being close to it and getting those cells active and getting them sort of resonating at that terahertz frequency, that energy immediately does carry over into the area that you're trying to stay away from. So, you know, working around the plates or pins or implants, you know, everybody's got something a little different. You know, even though you're not directly going into the area, if you use it around the area, that frequency is sort of like in a wave effect carrying into the areas around that you want to try to get some energy into.
Like water ripples. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, same thing with your heart, using it in the area around the heart. You've got that defibrillator there, even though you're not, you know, using it around the defibrillator, by staying an inch or two away from that and using it, that energy from the vibration of getting that cells and everything kind of resonating and moving will carry into the area around where that implant is, where that device is.
Right.
So those are, you know, those are a couple things there that you could kind of sort of get an understanding of. The other thing is, you know, we're starting to hear more about people charging this terahertz water and drinking it, but with the bunion or whatever it is that you had growing on that wrist, that cyst, whatever it might be, you might consider spraying, like putting some of that terahertz water in a spray bottle, spraying that area around with that terahertz water, and then using the wand on it after you've put some of that terahertz water on the external part of it.
Okay.
That would be another thing that I might think might help you and assist with that. And Daniel, who's one of the gentlemen, he was the gentleman, I don't know if you saw the video from Canada, you know, he's spraying it actually on his head and then terahertzing, using the terahertz wand on the head. And he's seeing hair growth coming back for the first time in 15, 20 years. And I didn't do a real good job on the lighting. That he's going to do another video. He called me a couple of days ago and said he didn't think the the lighting was good enough to really see the hair, but he really is starting to get a decent amount of hair coming in. You can kind of see it at the right angle. And we're going to do a follow-up video with him, but he's actually got hair now that his wife Claire is actually cutting for him. So, you know, it's kind of funny. But, you know, but we're finding that using some of that charged water externally can also help in various different things, various different types of situations. And basically, a lot of times these moles and different skin issues with moles, skin tags, a lot of times what that is those are mutated cells. And mutated cells by nature normally resonate at a low frequency. So when they're hit with the high frequency that a normal cell would absolutely love, those cells basically start dissipating and basically start becoming, you know, destroyed. And then your body slowly starts getting that material out of the body. So now just a real quick question, when you're using it on the kidneys, how much time are you using it there? Are you putting it on a pillow and laying up next to it, or is
No,
Angie helping with that?
I'm actually reaching around. Angie helped me today with it to see if we can get it stuff back there a little better. But I've been using the wand in one hand and then reaching around with the other one and kind of balancing and guiding with the other one. And I can reach around and get it to get the kidney area and stuff.
Right. Now,
So,
one thing I would recommend possibly is what I kind of did is I would just throw a couple pillows down on the bed. And then, you know, the thing about the wand is, you know, I would kind of adjust it to where I wanted on my back. But because it does have that hot air blowing, it does kind of give you an idea what part of the back it's there. And then you can kind of lay down
right.
sideways, you know, and just let the thing kind of get into that area while you're laying down in bed. So that's been one of the ways that I've used the wand to, you know, to kind of get to the back area that's a little bit easier than trying to hold it behind the back. And, you know, as you do it with the kidneys, obviously you have to kind of start slow, but you know, on average, with the 7.0 terahertz wand, which is the one you've got, that one would be basically maybe 3 to 5 minutes per session.
Okay. I've been using the lower level of it, the middle level, when I do that, because I can't hold it far enough away. If it's on the tops, on the 7,
Yeah.
it's just too hot too fast. So
Yeah, and you
I've
can
been,
just do the low setting with low, you know, just the low, and you can always move it
Yeah.
further away if you need to, you know. So if with a pillow and depending on the size of the bed, you could still be a couple feet away, so it's not getting quite as much. But I would kind of turn, you know, a little bit side to side to try to move it up and down, and instead of
Right.
having to move the wand, I would just kind of roll a little bit from side to side. But you know, those are just a couple things that, you know, I have found from using it. I think I've been using it now about I want to say close to 1.5 years. So, you know,
You're
just little
saying just
tips.
start with 3 to 5 minutes? Why so low?
Because the kidneys are basically holding on to toxic material. And if you push out too much toxin, now that's just for the kidneys. That's not necessarily the back itself. That's just really the kidney areas. But basically, you don't want to push too much toxic material. You don't want to push too much stuff out at once. There's a condition they call Hertzheimer's, and Hertzheimer's is basically what happens when you push too much toxic material into the bloodstream. So since the kidneys are basically absorbing all that toxic material, you really want to try to avoid. You want to push it out, cleanse it out, push it out, cleanse it out. But the process is really, once you've started doing it and once you're 2-3 weeks, a month into it, then you can start going a little bit longer as you start kind of getting that out of there. So the body starts getting used to it and you're starting to get some of it out. But initially, because the energy and everything, you're kind of, you know, sending this into the body's not used to it. You know, you just want to kind of slowly ramp it up. Very much like if you're going to start up a car in the winter, you'd want to let it run for 5 minutes and kind of get the oil and stuff moving through it before you took it out on the highway. kind of the same analogy sort of with your body, just kind of get it moving, get the blood flowing, get the energy going. And then that's really just for the kidneys and liver. Now, the other place that you might start using it also that I know is I'm seeing feedback from is the thyroid. Thyroid has got a lot of heavy lifting to do these days, because in this day and age, there's just a lot of toxic material in our environment, in our different foods, pesticides, all those different things. So, you know, a lot of that stuff is sort of clogging up the body. So, you know, but with those internal organs, you know, those are a couple of things that I might suggest. Angie, when I spoke to you, you bought those 5. You said you wanted to have them on hand, so when you were talking to people about it, you could basically just hand one off and say, here you go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
Have you handed out any of those ones you got from that last order?
We haven't gotten those yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No, they'll be here like on Wednesday or something, I think.
On Wednesday, yeah. But that's really, you know, that's really fantastic. I'm always excited to hear, you know, that it's helping people. And, you know, certainly when some of those aches and pains go away, it helps you become a little bit more active and, you know, kind of go through your daily routine without being as stiff and sore. Is there anything? Have
you heard of anyone that's used it for MS and how it's worked for them?
Oh, absolutely. We've got actually a gentleman named Kirk who did a testimonial and a review with us on the MS. And Kirk is, I want to say 62. And he basically explained the tendons and how it's kind of shrinking up, and the feet especially, as almost like fire coals, basically walking on fire coals. And he said that within the first 1 or 2 sessions, the majority of the pain went away. And not only did it go away, it stayed away. And Kirk is very, very well educated. He understands really how the wand's working as far as how it's releasing when you're hitting those cells and you're opening those cells up. It's allowing them to detoxify. It's also allowing them to absorb nutrients. And it's assisting with cellular function, cellular detoxification, cellular regeneration, and circulation. So you're basically sending all this energy to get the cells to open up, move the energy, enhance the process of getting the toxic stuff out, getting the good stuff in, and letting the body do what the body can do. Because ultimately it's the body that's doing all the work, but the wand is opening it up and allowing the body to kind of get back at full steam to be able to have, you know, the tools that it needs to get right back to going to what the body wants to do, which is basically going into homeostasis, which is, you know, ideal health. So Kirk actually had a really good story. I can send you that link. It's on our testimonials, how he's been using it with MS. And we are going to do a follow-up with Kirk because he's just a great guy. I had a really good call with him, and he's very knowledgeable. But you know, Kirk was somebody that had been hit. Not only was he dealing with MS, but and using it for that, he'd also been hit at least twice by a car, broken bones. I mean, he had a lot of pain and a lot of soreness in other parts of the body. So he was using it for more than just the MS. But the MS was the key thing that he had addressed initially in the testimonial, the review that he did. And especially, you know, in his feet. He said that walking was very painful, and he did liken it to like walking on burning coals. So, you know, and since that testimonial and since that, I've had other people reach out to me. So that's been very encouraging because, you know, we're just seeing a very wide range of uses for the Terahertz Wand. We're seeing it do a lot of different things. And, you know, it's kind of people like yourself sharing your stories and sharing the different things that you're using it for that's helping other people get an understanding of what it might benefit them for and ways, and, you know, like how much time do you use it? How much, you know, how long will it take? And, you know, all these different questions and answers. But it's really nice to hear that in first time from people like yourself.
But, you know, you talk like he has pain all over his body, well, MS that way. The medicine that I've taken, I've taken it for, God, over 30 years. I was taking it about 30 years, I think. And it's cholesterol medicine. Well, I went and did some research on the cholesterol medicines, and what it does is attacks your muscles and it deteriorates your muscling and stuff, and then you get sore. You're always sore. So I've been sore all over my body just from deterioration from the medicine. I got rid of that medicine, and then with the wand now, that's why I don't know if it's best to, I try to get my whole body with it all the time because of that. And I don't know if that's best to just concentrate on certain areas first or not, but I trying to jump in there with all feet and get the whole area, you know, that I need to, but I know I've got problems. So, and so far I think as far as with the combination of getting rid of the medicine, plus now building it back with the wand, I think I don't hurt near as bad as I used to. They used to have me on pain medicine just to deal with that, and I ain't on that pain medicine anymore. Every now and then I might have to take one, but that's a heck of a drop from where I was at, though. So
it's always great to hear, and that's you know, like I was saying earlier, just being able to get rid of that. The common thing that I see is that as that pain and soreness starts to dissipate, people are living more active lifestyles. They're picking up and starting to do things that they weren't able to do. They're more motivated to jump out of bed because it's just not such a sore, painful experience for them. So I really, really appreciate, Kenneth, both you and Angie taking the time to jump on and share that. Before we sign off, I'll give each one of you a chance to say something. But before we sign off, Angie, is there anything you'd like to share with everybody before we go?
I just think that it has actually given me more energy and made me feel better because my knees aren't hurting when I'm walking and stuff now. So I go up and down the steps better. So I'm just really impressed with it.
And Kenneth, how about you, sir?
I can sure see some benefits to it so far. I'm amazed at only 30 days in that ankle. I'm walking on it again now. So, and I'm working on the others, and it's starting to come and get there. And I think if it works like it did on the ankle, I think I'm going to be really happy. So far, the pain's gone away, so I know it is working.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, like I've always said on all these calls, I'm really blessed because technically, I love the technology. It's great. I really get a lot of satisfaction knowing that it's helping people, but I do meet some really great people, you know, like I really do meet some really great people along the way. You folks are fantastic. So I do want to thank you once again for your time today. And thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go ahead and end the video, but stick with me here and I'll say goodbye to you once we shut this recording off. Thanks again, both of you, for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.